the late 1960s. America's streets rumbled with a symphony of unbridled horsepower. This was the golden age, when automotive manufacturers threw caution to the wind and built engines that defied logic, practicality, and sometimes even sanity itself. Walk down any main street in America during this era, and you'd hear them before you saw them. The deep rumble of big block 5.8 engines, each one trying to out-thunder the next. Pontiac had their legendary 455. Ford was pushing the boundaries with their 429 Cobra jet. Chrysler's Hemi had already achieved mythical status. And right there in the thick of it all was Chevrolet, determined not just to compete, but to dominate. Chevrolet's big block V8 family stood at the forefront of this mechanical revolution. From the sleek Corvette to the imposing Impala SS, from the versatile El Camino to the boulevard-cruising Monte Carlo, these machines shared one thing in common: earth-shattering torque and horsepower that could pin you to your seat. But among all these titans, one engine stands apart. One power plant achieved legendary status despite existing for barely more than a heartbeat in automotive history. This is the story of the 454 LS6, the rarest, most celebrated, and perhaps most underrated big block Chevrolet ever created. It appeared at precisely the wrong moment, or perhaps the perfect moment depending on how you look at it. It represented the absolute pinnacle of American big block engineering, the culmination of everything Detroit had learned about building powerful engines. And then, almost as quickly as it arrived, it was gone. Before we dive into this incredible story, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. We're bringing you the deepest dives into automotive history, and you won't want to miss a single episode. Now let's talk about an engine that arrived just as the party was ending, yet somehow became immortal. Customers walked into dealerships with expectations that seem almost absurd by today's standards. They wanted more power, more torque, more noise, more drama. Manufacturers were more than happy to oblige. This was before corporate average fuel economy standards, before serious emissions regulations, before insurance companies had successfully lobbied to make high-performance cars prohibitively expensive for young buyers. As the 1970 model year approached, Chevrolet engineers were busy in their laboratories, crafting what they believed would be the ultimate street weapon. Their mission was simple: take the already formidable 427 cubic inch Mark IV architecture and push it even further into uncharted territory. The foundation was solid. The Mark IV design had proven itself capable of handling serious power. But Chevrolet wanted more. They kept the 427 cubic inch engine's 4.25 inch bore, already generously sized, and increased the stroke to a full 4 inches. The result was a displacement of 454 cubic inches of pure American muscle. That additional stroke length might not sound dramatic, but it was transformative. It increased the total swept volume of all 8 cylinders to 454 cubic inches, 7.4 liters for those who think metrically. More importantly, that longer stroke meant more leverage on the crankshaft, which translated directly to torque. Torque, as any drag racer will tell you, is what launches you off the line and slams you back into your seat. When this new power plant hit dealerships, Chevrolet offered customers a choice between two personalities. Think of it as Jekyll and Hyde, if both versions were absolutely terrifying. The entry point into 454 territory was the LS6. Rated at 360 horsepower, it found homes in full-size cruisers like the Caprice, giving families unprecedented straight-line acceleration in their daily drivers. But it truly came alive in SS-badged performance machines. The Chevelle, Monte Carlo, and El Camino could all be ordered with the SS 454 package, designated by the RPO code Z15LS5. The Chevelle, already a mid-size muscle car icon, could be transformed into a street terror with the SS 454 package. The Monte Carlo, Chevrolet's personal luxury muscle car, offered the same brutal performance wrapped in a more refined package. And the El Camino proved that utility vehicles could embarrass dedicated sports cars at the drag strip. In the Corvette, the LS5 flexed its muscles even harder, pumping out 390 horsepower. Impressive? Absolutely. But it wasn't the king of the hill. Because lurking above it, available for those willing to pay a modest premium, was something special. Something that would write its name in the history books with fire and fury. The LS6. For buyers checking the RPOZ 15 LS6, ordering code on their Chevelle or El Camino paperwork, they were about to take delivery of 450 horsepower of barely contained chaos. But the horsepower number only told part of the story. So what separated the LS6 from its more common LS5 sibling? The answer lies in the details. Details that transformed a strong engine into an absolute monster. Let's start with compression. While many engines of the era were backing away from high compression ratios, the LS6 ran an aggressive 11.25-to-1 compression ratio. This was not an engine for the faint of heart or for regular pump gas. The cast-iron rectangular port cylinder heads were works of functional art. Intake openings measured 2.19 inches, and exhaust ports came in at 1.88 inches. These were not just holes. They were carefully engineered pathways designed to move massive volumes of air and fuel. But perhaps the most significant difference was hidden inside, a solid lifter camshaft. While the LS5 used hydraulic lifters for smoother, quieter operation, the LS6 employed solid lifters with an aggressive 0.520-inch lift on both intake and exhaust sides, paired with 316 degrees of duration. This was not just a different specification, it was a different philosophy. The LS6 was built for performance. The components list read like a racing parts catalog. A low-rise aluminum intake manifold improved airflow while saving weight. Forged aluminum pistons could withstand the punishment of high RPM operation and detonation pressures. And crowning it all was a massive 800 cubic feet per minute 4-barrel Holley carburetor, gulping air like a starving predator. Chevrolet even offered a cowl induction hood package that channeled cool outside air directly to that thirsty Holley. It was not just functional, it was intimidating. The official torque rating was an earth-moving 500 pound-feet. Some whispers circulated through the automotive underground, rumors that General Motors had deliberately understated the LS6 true output for insurance purposes. However, period magazine testing and modern dynamometer analysis of original LS6 engines have confirmed the factory ratings were remarkably accurate. At 450 horsepower and 500 pound-feet of torque, the LS6 needed no exaggeration. The real numbers were devastating enough. And before we continue with what this engine could actually do on the street, this is the perfect time to remind you. If you are enjoying this deep dive into automotive history, smash that subscribe button so we can keep bringing you these stories. Numbers on a specification sheet are one thing, reality is another. And when the LS6 hit the streets in 1970, reality exceeded even the wildest expectations. Period automotive magazines could not wait to get their hands on LS6-equipped machines. Carcraft, Superstock, and Drag Illustrated and others put these beasts through their paces on the drag strip, and the results were shocking. LS6 Chevelles were consistently running the quarter mile in the low to mid 13-second range, with times around 13.12 to 13.44 seconds being typical. To put that in perspective, they were running neck and neck with Mopar's legendary 426 Hemi-powered machines, the Plymouth GTX, Roadrunner, and Dodge Challenger, vehicles that had dominated the streets and strips just years earlier. The Hemi had been nearly untouchable. It was the engine every manufacturer feared and every enthusiast worshipped. And here was Chevrolet's new big block, matching its performance with a production engine that could be ordered straight from the dealer. The LS6 was not just competitive, it was a legitimate contender for the street crown. On the street, LS6 cars earned instant respect. That distinctive solid lifter valve train clatter announced their presence before they even came into view. There was a low rumble at idle that exploded into a thunderous roar under acceleration. This was automotive theater at its finest. Here is where the story takes a peculiar turn. Despite the LS6 being available in the Chevelle and El Camino from 1970, Chevrolet's flagship sports car, the Corvette, was mysteriously denied access to the ultimate big block. Throughout 1970, Corvette buyers wanting big block power had to settle for the LS5. Still potent at 390 horsepower, it was not the king. Why Chevrolet made this decision remains somewhat mysterious. Perhaps they wanted to preserve the Chevelle's street reputation. Perhaps there were engineering concerns, or perhaps it was simply marketing strategy. Whatever the reason, when 1971 rolled around, the Corvette finally received the LS6. But there was a catch, actually several catches. First, the power was down. Instead of the full 450 horsepower, the Corvette's LS6 checked in at 425 horses with 475 pound-feet of torque. The culprit was lower compression ratios, mandated by the EPA's increasingly aggressive campaign against automotive emissions. The writing was on the wall. The muscle car era was dying, and government regulation was holding the pen. But it was not all bad news. The Corvette's LS6 featured aluminum cylinder heads instead of cast iron, a weight savings of over 50 pounds. It also received a more durable crankshaft and stronger connecting rods, components that would allow it to survive harder use in a lighter, more agile chassis. Even with reduced power, the LS6 Corvette was breathtaking. The combination of that massive torque, the lighter nose, and the sports car's superior handling made it a weapon on both straight roads and twisty canyon runs. Only 188 LS6 Corvettes were built in 1971, making them extraordinarily rare today. But this brief shining moment was just that, brief. 1971 would be the only year the Corvette received the LS6. In fact, it would be the last year any Chevrolet passenger car could be ordered with the mighty engine. The dawn of 1972 brought harsh, new realities to Detroit. The Environmental Protection Agency was not backing down. It was ramping up enforcement. Insurance companies had successfully priced young buyers out of high-performance cars. Gas prices were climbing, foreshadowing the energy crisis that would soon grip the nation. The LS6 was gone. In its place, the LS5 continued on, but even it was being neutered. Compression ratios dropped. Power figures fell. The 454 that had once roared with 450 horsepower was being choked down to well under 300. By the mid-1970s, the energy crisis hit like a hammer blow. Gas shortages and rationing led to lines at the pump stretching for blocks. Americans began to view thirsty V8 engines not as objects of desire, but as expensive liabilities. The 454, in all its forms, disappeared from passenger car catalogs entirely. The 454 designation would continue in pickup trucks, vans, and commercial vehicles for decades, serving with distinction as a workhorse engine. But it would never again wear the performance crown. That brief, glorious moment when the LS6 ruled the streets was over, relegated to memory and legend. Or so it seemed. Fast forward to today. Walk through any serious muscle car show, cruise any high-end auction, talk to any collector who specializes in the era, and one thing becomes clear. The LS6 has achieved legendary status. What was once viewed as just another big block Chevy is now recognized as one of the most significant engines in American automotive history. It took decades, but the market finally caught up with what the performance numbers had shown all along. Original equipment, LS6 cars command extraordinary prices at auction. Cars that were once considered just ordinary used muscle cars have become blue-chip investments. The market has finally recognized what enthusiasts knew all along. The LS6 was at least as potent and nearly as rare as the vaunted Hemi, and it deserves the same respect and valuation. For those building clones or restoring period-correct machines, original LS6 specifications are the holy grail. Yes, Chevrolet has since offered crate motors with more power and torque. Modern LS-based engines can embarrass the old big blocks in every measurable way. But for those seeking authenticity, seeking that connection to history, seeking the hottest big block bow-tie engine of the muscle car era, nothing else will do. In a curious footnote, General Motors eventually resurrected the LS6 nameplate. They waited nearly 4 decades to do so. In 2001, a 5.7-liter small block LS motor appeared in the Chevrolet Corvette Z06, wearing the LS6 badge. It later expanded to the Cadillac CTS-V in 2004. Despite sharing nothing in terms of design, one was a massive big block and the other a compact small block. Both engines shared a crucial distinction: extremely limited production runs in only a handful of high-performance applications. The LS6 name, it seems, is reserved for the special ones. The 454 LS6 existed for barely more than a year in its full glory. It arrived just as regulations and economics were conspiring to end the muscle car party. By all rights, it should have been forgotten. A footnote in automotive history, a what-if that never got its moment. Instead, it became immortal. Perhaps it is precisely because of its brief existence that the LS6 looms so large in our imagination. It represents the absolute peak, the moment right before everything changed. It is the last roar of defiance from an era that valued horsepower over efficiency, acceleration over practicality, and pure, unbridled performance over everything else. The 454 LS6 was not just an engine, it was a statement, a philosophy, a middle finger to anyone who said you could not have 500 pound-feet of torque in a street car. And today, more than 50 years later, that statement still resonates. If you enjoyed this deep dive into one of history's greatest engines, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode. Drop a comment below telling us about your favorite muscle car engine, and check out our other documentaries.